A mummy has been found in a 2,500-year-old coffin that was thought to be empty. This coffin was on display at the University Museum in Sydney for over 150 years. When scientists decided to open it last year, they were completely shocked to find the remains of a human inside. This discovery is only now being made public. The remains were not fully intact, as it was suspected this coffin was previously opened and damaged by tomb raiders. What they did find inside were the remains of human feet and bones. Experts are going to try and identify this mummy, but it will be difficult as only about 10% of the body remains in the coffin, as it was badly torn apart by tomb raiders at some point in history. About this discovery, archaeologist Dr. Jamie Fraser had this to say: "It was just unbelievably astonishing what we saw. One of those moments where you can't help but take in a breath and just hang in the moment. I've never excavated an Egyptian tomb, but this comes close." This tomb was one of 4 that were sourced from Egypt around 1860 by the museum's founder. Dr. Fraser has noted that the hieroglyphics on the coffin date back to about 600 BC and show that it was built for a woman named Merithidas. It's expected that she was either a priestess or worshipper. CT scans were completed last week. From that, several bones were located among the dirt in the coffin, as well as bandages, resin fragments, and 7,000 beads from the funeral shawl. It's a pretty remarkable find, and hopefully soon they will be able to find out who this was. Hey guys, welcome back to LP. I'm Court McGinley. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday. I hope all of you are having a wonderful week so far. I just want to remind you guys to stay tuned until the end of the video, as I'll be answering some of your questions. And don't forget to leave me your questions down in the comment section, as I will be choosing some to answer this week. Alright, without further ado, let's get started on today's news stories. Next, yesterday we talked to you guys about the Siberian fire that killed over 64 people, 41 of them children. Well, today thousands of angry and distraught Russians went to the main square of a Siberian city to confront local officials, as the residents are blaming them for the fire. President Putin visited the city, laid flowers as tribute, and says criminal negligence and sloppiness was the cause of the deaths. This fire engulfed the Winter Cherry Mall on Sunday, trapping dozens of parents and children inside. The angry residents rallied for over 6 hours. It said the residents believe that the death toll is much higher than stated because the entire movie theater in the mall burned down. Yesterday, footage was released of the charred movie theater where the roof entirely collapsed. Investigators said that the emergency exits were blocked and that the security guard was detained, but they still have no reasonable explanation for his actions. One of the 3 protesters lost his wife, sister, and 3 daughters in the fire. About this, he said, "They died because they were locked in a movie theater. They were calling from there asking for help, saying they were locked in, they were suffocating. No one helped because the blaze broke out. Everyone ran away." What's also really bothering the people is that Putin did not address the nation or immediately declare a period of mourning. In an apparent reaction to the public pressure, the Kremlin declared tomorrow a day of mourning. Yesterday, investigators also announced that they are asking the court to arrest 5 suspects, but they did not say who those people were. We'll keep you guys up to date on this case. Next, scientists have discovered a new human organ. According to the site New Scientist, a newly discovered network of fluid-filled channels in the human body may be a previously unknown organ, and it apparently seems to help transport cancer cells around the body. This discovery was actually a fluke after routine endoscopy. It's believed these networks of fluid channels could exist on every tissue in the body, and that the fluid channels function as mobile shock absorbers, and contain a fifth of the total fluid volume of the human body. The reason this wasn't discovered earlier was due to previous endoscopy equipment tampering with the structure of the networks, which caused the organ to appear like a hard wall of dense protective tissue instead of a fluid-filled cushion. It's hoped that by studying the fluid channel, doctors will be able to diagnose cancer earlier. Next, Stormy Daniels' 60-minute interview draws show's highest ratings in 10 years. Several hours after the interview aired, Daniels' name was still the #1 trending topic in the US on Twitter. It said the episode averaged 22.1 million viewers, which is more than twice as many viewers than a typical episode of the show. During this interview, it was also revealed that in 2018, Daniels signed 2 letters in which she denied the affair ever happened, one sent by Cohen and the other sent by Daniels' former manager. In the letter, it stated, "I am not denying this affair because of hush money. I am denying this affair because it never happened." Daniels said she signed this because she was pressured by her manager and attorney at the time. When Anderson Cooper asked her if the statements in these letters was a lie, she said yes, and said that she lied because she felt like she didn't have a choice. Now that Daniels has gone ahead with the interview, I'm sure there's going to be many more headlines with her name in them coming, so we'll keep you guys up to date. Next, a flat earther has blasted off in a homemade rocket to prove the earth is flat. Meet Mad Mike Hughes. He's a self-taught scientist, and he's so sure the earth is flat that he's gone and built himself a rocket in an attempt to fly above the earth so he can prove that it is flat to everyone else. Unfortunately, this flight into orbit was rather short. He was only up in the air for about 4 seconds before he came crashing down. Upon impact, the nose of the homemade rocket shattered, and Hughes reported a sore back, but obviously the landing could have been much worse. He spent months building this rocket and over $20,000. Before the flight, Mike said he wanted to fly high enough to gather evidence which disproves the accepted fact that the Earth is round. And even though this time it was a fail, he is not giving up. Next, I have some pretty exciting news for all of you Lord of the Rings fans. They're coming out with a TV show, and apparently it's the most expensive TV show of all time. It's no surprise that Lord of the Rings has a loyal fan base, and that's even more so proven by the fact that $250 million is being shelled out to make this new show based on the Lord of the Rings. This is an insane amount of money. But it needs to be mentioned that the trilogy did end up making over $1 billion profit at the box office alone. The show has already been commissioned for 2 seasons, and it's going to be set prior to the Fellowship of the Ring. And if the first 2 seasons do well, then it's likely there will be many more seasons to follow. So far there hasn't been a cast announcement or a release date, but people are really excited. And now it's that time of the week where I answer your questions and read comments, so let's get started. Eva Marie said, Courtney, you and your husband are goals. I just wanted to ask, do you guys want to have kids in the near future? Love you so much, sending you and your hubby lots of love and positivity. Thank you so much for your kind message, that made my day. And we're looking to buy a house this fall, and then probably talk pretty seriously about kids come the new year. You know, gotta be responsible first, right? Shadowhacker19 asked, if you could only eat one food, what would it be? Also, I love your vids, keep it up. Well, thank you so much. And I really like soup, and there's a lot of different kinds of soup, and you can add a lot of different ingredients in, so I'd say soup. Next, Stephen Wolf asked, if you had to choose from China, Japan, Tokyo, Hong Kong, or South Korea, where would you go on your next vacation? I'd probably go to Japan. Lil Mama asked, why do you use your hands so much when you talk? Because I'm a very expressive person, that's why. Big Dog Taylor said, oh my god, our interests are 100, we must be long lost twins. I mean, we could be, you never know. Next, Archery Aussie asked, Courtney, if you could have an exotic pet, what would it be? My favorite animal is a fox or an elephant, so I'd have to say one of those. Probably a fox though, as they seem like they would be a lot easier to take care of. Alright, there you guys go, that's all the news stories I have for you guys today, and all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and show us some love by giving this video a big thumbs up. Leave your questions down in those comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.